And I'm starting with LSU at Ole Miss. LSU is getting a lot of attention from professional handicappers. I can tell you that so far. They are this 2.5-point favorite here. That pretty much was the opener, and I did see it get up to 3, but I'm showing pretty heavy consensus by handicappers here in this one for the Tigers coming into this game. So the total here opened for this game around 64, and it's gone up here to 67 now. Could that be right? Let's take a look, because I showed it going as low as 62.5. Now there is been a little bit of momentum here, I would say, for the over. Certainly, you see that big move there, but let's just take a look here and see, because LSU, of course, won their first 2 SEC games, beating Mississippi State 41-14, and they also beat Arkansas 34-31. Of course, they lost that game to Florida State 45-24 as a 2-point favorite. So for the Rebels, they lost last week, of course, to Alabama 24-10. They were outgained just by 50 yards. It was like 350-300 or so. But Ole Miss, with their 3 wins so far now, they are 3-1. And let's see, Kiffin is pretty bad as a home dog. That's for sure. That's probably still the way I kind of would look. I'm not looking there necessarily, but it does strike me as interesting. For LSU, certainly, Chip Kelly so far, he's just 1-4 as a road favorite. But man, just so much support for this LSU team up and down the line, it seems like, from cappers. But the reported steam came in on Ole Miss. So could it be that the guys with the money are the ones, this has always been LSU's series. They've won 6 of the last 7 meetings, but they usually don't cover. Now, they're usually favored as well, and it usually goes over. So I don't know about that. I know that there have been, some talking heads out there about the over, but I don't know. I think the number is getting a little bit too high. Maybe I would think here. So I'm gonna have to side with LSU. I want to give Ole Miss every consideration here, getting points, but I'm still going to end up on the Tigers here. We're laying less than a field goal. I guess I'm just a sheep at this point. I'm just following along. I'm following the herd here, it feels like. I want to give Ole Miss a shot. Does anybody give Ole Miss a shot in the chat? Hello to Gary. Nobody's talking. Nobody's making picks with me today. Appreciate you guys joining me. Got a couple dozen here, and I appreciate those of you that have decided to stick around. I mean, I know why maybe some have taken off, but I think they're going to be back because it's mostly about the winners. Hopefully it's not about me or the way you feel about me. Let's just continue to crush it. I mean, that's all we can do. All right. LSU for Blake, and Damien's here today, and he's got the Tigers as well. Hello to Matt today. I think it's going to be I feel pretty good. I was on a pretty massive run until the head office called down and said, hey, try to pump up your record a little bit. You're on fire. And then once you start doing that, I still had profit, but wasn't crushing it like we were. So we're going to get it today. Get that 5-pack from me, or maybe a 3-day right now. Get you through to Monday Night Football for $79 if you use that promo code Tony T at checkout. Get my 3-day package. I'm just sitting here with a bunch of sheets, going to watch a bunch of games and fire off my best plays on Tony'sPicks.com. So let's have a little fun. I'm going to be here. Check me on the Discord. We'll come up with some more plays. I'll be loading up also a bunch of FCS in there. So check it out today. All right. Thanks for your suggestions there. Looks like mostly LSU here with the gang. Gary, though, is on Ole Miss. I'm respecting Gary a little bit. I was almost trying to find my way off LSU, but call me a sheep here on this one. It's a free play, and I think I like the total though, and that could be headed to the card. We'll see about that one. All right, next up, the Oregon Ducks taking on Stanford in this one, and of course, Oregon a massive favorite. Oh, we got to spend too much time on some of these big ones, but I'm just going to cover the big conferences. Is what I kind of feel like we're going to end up doing. So for Oregon here, they opened around 26 and a half. It went up to 28 and a half. The early look ahead was 23, but I think that's before we saw what we might be dealing with here at this point uh, with Stanford. I mean, you do have Oregon. They're just looking pretty good. I mean, obviously, right now, Pac-10's looking great, but nobody wants to go up against the Ducks at this point. They do it on, uh, you know, great offense right now, unbelievable offense. Really, it's almost unfair that end up bashing Colorado a little because Oregon might be that good offensively. So it's an easy target considering this wild roller coaster. Of course, how does Colorado fit into our conversation? We covered that team days ago, but it just so happens that Oregon right now, and I imagine they could end up getting this money here. How and I don't know if Stanford's going to get much done. I think Oregon could, you know, put the hurt on them a little bit here, but pretty big line. Who really wants to go out there and lay 4 touchdowns? I'm gonna probably do it right here, right now on the show as my free play. And maybe I like the total here, actually. So, Jeremy, thank you very much. Nice to see you, and Darren as well. Thanks, you guys, for coming in. Of course, we're going to be here on Saturdays and Sundays, trying to alter the schedule a little bit, get you a little bit more game day. They want it as early as possible, but we know it's fun on the day of the game. We've got our other cappers too, and we've got great information. Let's take Oregon here in this one against Stanford to roll them. I'm sure they can get it by 4 touchdowns here. That's what we're going to need, no doubt about it. But so far, Knicks 14-1 touchdown to interceptions. Remember, still it goes back. Stanford's still 31-9 against, or 9-31 against the spread. Their last 40 games. It's been going bad for a few years now, and they were able to get out of find their way to a conference. Good for them, and we hope it works out. But they're getting outscored like nearly 3-1 over their last several games dating back to last season right now. So you've got to think Oregon can name their score. Unfortunately, it's going to be close, I would imagine, right there to 4-touchdown margin. What I do expect to happen with that total, let's see, it is 59.5. So it opened 56.5. It did touch as high as 62.5. I actually expect it to be probably well under this number here. Did not get the best of the number, so we'll see if I can get on it in premium. The Steam definitely came in on the over, but the buyback has been pretty big. So maybe the Sharps are seeing it the way I am, that Oregon gets this blowout win, and Stanford does have a little bit of troubles. Maybe that's how Oregon gets the cover, as Stanford ends up short of their team total here in this one. I'm sure Oregon's going to be. I already know they're very popular at the window and with cappers as well. I'm doing it too. I'm doing it with Oregon here. I don't know, Blake. I mean, they could on the road. I think it's All right, thanks, Preston. Now there's a lot of shows out there like this. The one thing I try to at least do is get out here first on YouTube, at least with these type of talking head shows. We know the networks are on or whatever, but just get you out there and get some of the information out, because there's some quarterback news too out here today already breaking with a couple of teams. So, all right. So Oregon for me, and I'm gonna probably disagree there with Blake, just on the, I think Oregon rolls. I don't know if they put up a big time number here. I think they get it done, and they might even have a little defense here in this one. Iowa State going up here against Oklahoma. This is 187 and 188 with the Sooners here. They opened at 19. That's where it sits. They're juiced a little bit at the offshore book that I'm following this morning, but this one's been pretty much all over the place in this range. I've seen it as low as 18 and as high as 21. Now the early look ahead line back was Oklahoma 14. So you can kind of see what's been going on here, maybe a little bit with these clubs. And I'd have to think, let's see, the total has been dipping here at 48.5. The reported steam came in on the over, but it went all the way up to 51.5 and has since gone back down here to 48.5. And that's the way I was. That's the way I was thinking. So it looks like I missed out on some value here a little bit, it looks like. And I don't know if I even like this number at 3 touchdowns necessarily. I would think that Oklahoma should be able to roll them here, but maybe it's going to be right about that number. It feels like to me. I don't think Oklahoma maybe gets there. This one would not make my card, I'll tell you that much. Today with this matchup. So just feels right about on. I am going to make the call though here. I mean, that's what we do on the show. I think you know which way. I mean, it's Oklahoma and under. Maybe it's even a double. Maybe I'll just double play it right here. What do you think? 2 plays on this game. All right. Look, I can have an opinion on every game. Darren says he thinks Iowa State covers. All right, Darren, you and I right now we're in a challenge. You're one of the sharpest guys out here, so. All right. Oklahoma, yep, we got the big game coming up on deck, so maybe there is going to be a look ahead here. I'm going to trust them to get there. I'm going to trust them to get there by over 3 touchdowns today here. So Mike says Iowa State and under. So I'm going to take the under as well. I'm not. Neither of these are going to make the premium for the late card. So let me give out both since I'm kind of at a toss up as far as which direction I was, which one I was going to give out. So let me give out both while I'm here. And I'm going Oklahoma and under. Take a look now with South Carolina and Tennessee here, 137, 138 with the Vols, an 11.5 point favorite. Boy, these lines will end up bouncing all over the place and end up right where they started, or at least that's where this line was when we were here on last Sunday with the opening line show, looking at those circa lines. And it came out 11.5. I saw it go all the way up to 13. It was as low as 9. But here we are at 11.5 right now. And I'm showing, kind of Capper was mostly on South Carolina here. Probably the direction I would look as well. This total all the way down here to 59.5. Now, the movement there has been more significant because it opened 61.5, was as high as 64.5. We're seeing a lot of pressure here to the under, all the way down to 59.5. I know there's some sharp guys there that like the under, but it might be going a little bit too low for me now. So we'll see about that. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely going to be. I'm going to be on South Carolina here, plus 11.5 points in this one. Let's see here for the. Yeah, for South Carolina here in this one, we're not getting the best of the number at this point, but for me, I think they can hang in here with the Vols. I thought I had a good key stat here, but maybe I'm not as prepped as I wanted to be for the for this game. But definitely on the play. But sure, I would think that Tennessee is the more talented team for sure, but no way you can say that South Carolina can be outcoached here in this one. I would think if I'm getting the hook on the 11, I know it's not a huge key number, but it's not a bad number here. And Blake, yep, Blake does say go over in this one. Solo's going to be with me on South Carolina. So I appreciate your guys' contributions and comments in this one. So look, it's been you know a little bit of a downfall, obviously this year for Tennessee's offense. They're trying to get it together, right? I mean, look how good they were last year. Uh, you know, number one basically, right? And now they're kind of down there. Top what top 50, I would think, in scoring. The total, I think the offense is a little bit better. The scoring's down, right? The offense, they're neither are as good as last year, but the scoring is more off than the yardage. They're not converting as much as you would like right now, but I think that's going to be something you'd expect to happen. They're still pretty awesome, but they needed that comeback, of course, last week. Um, you know, that total going down. The one thing about the total going, because look, South Carolina is going to have trouble running the ball, but uh, that can't necessarily be the strategy here. They probably want to mix it up and get into some type of a trade off here, a little bit of a shootout. So, um, man, Rattler was pretty good. We're definitely on South Carolina. I mean, I'm on South Carolina. I need to hem and haw about this one. I just like looking at this information about this game. I'll take the Gamecocks here in this one. Oh boy, Notre Dame and Duke. This is going to be a great one for sure. Here, Duke right now getting 5.5 at this point. Off of that key number, it opened 6.5. Look, the look ahead was, not as high as this, certainly right now. I'm showing a pretty big handicapper split here with the Blue Devils. Handicappers are lining up, it looks like, to take the Blue Devils here plus the points. And, well, quite frankly, I'd probably trust them. I don't know if I'd like to get that 6.5 back. Who wouldn't? But man, it does seem like Duke is getting a lot of support. So we'll see. That'd be the way that I'm leaning here. Certainly, that total right now 52.5. Oh boy, that feels pretty high, I would think. Now you might think that Duke goes in here and Notre Dame goes in here and has a big time of it with Hartman. Uh, 14 touchdowns so far, no interceptions. Notre Dame's got a pretty strong defense so far. I mean, I don't know where you put them, but I guess they're probably top 10 in the nation at this point. Maybe you could downgrade them a little bit for some of their opponents, but I mean, not everyone's out there playing, top 20s every game either. So, all right. Well, Duke, they're not, running the ball necessarily to have me support them too much here, but tough to ignore. The Cappers so heavy in this one, seeming to like Duke. I mean, I already like Duke coming in, but um, boy, it really does perplex me in this one. So, all right, let's see if you guys got to have a comment or two on this one. You guys want to sway me a little bit? Well, we got it 1-1. We got Blake on Duke. We got Solo on Notre Dame. Well, we can't break this tie. Darren does like the under. Yeah, well, I like the under. I like the under. That's for darn sure. All right, I'm on the Blue Devils here. Plus the 5.5. I'm telling you what, I'd probably have to buy it up. I don't know if I trust it. I'd probably want to make sure I got at least a half a point with 6, and then I'd keep buying it probably. Here's Matt on Notre Dame. Because 5.5's a nothing, right? Why have 5.5 when you can have 6? Now, it might be a little different when you talk about, you know, out in nowhere land or something with a half a point. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, everybody, for that game. Michigan State and Iowa. Well, this is a game number 199 and 200 with Michigan State and Iowa. And Iowa currently is a 10-point favorite here in the total 36.5. Iowa mostly opened at 10.5. Back on that circa number, it had gone a little bit lower, and it also went as high as 11.5. So this one's been bouncing all around here, and I'm not sure what to do with. I am not feeling the con. We might start doing confidence picks, right? Because this one does not feel pretty great. Now, of course, we know there's a little bit of news going on. Michigan State, they're still trying to feel their way through their little mishaps here again of late. So, can they cover 10 points at Iowa in what obviously is going to be a lower scoring game? I mean, that's what you kind of feel, right? You think Iowa's really going to blow somebody out here 23-13? Is it 23-13 for you guys? I don't know. Maybe Iowa gets there is what I'm thinking. And this total pretty much open, right? Was as high as 39.5, though, and now it's 36.5. So it feels like it may even sneak over that total. And I don't know. Iowa feels like they're going to win right around this number in this one. So I know all these Big Ten games, it seems so ugly, right? But man, they all 23-13 is the final score right there on your screen, is what that says. -10 and 36.5. Is that what you guys expect out of this one? All right. Well, no one. Okay, here we go. That's all I'm waiting for. Someone say something to me. Over 36.5. Mike's trying to get me to do it, and I'm considering it. So I have to come up with a play. Might just tag along with Mike. Look, I want to make fun of these Big Ten games and say this is going to be, a low scoring game, but I don't know. For me, it just happens. My computer's kind of saying 37. I don't know if anything else is telling me 37. Now, granted, Michigan State has lost their last 2 games by a 71-16 margin so far. That doesn't sound good. They also turned it over 5 times against the Terps, trailed 21-0, and finished with just 9 points on the scoreboard. So it's been a disaster here for Michigan State through all this problems with the coach being fired. And Iowa didn't do anything in that Penn State game. They got out first down by the Lions 28-4, and they also trailed in total yardage. It wasn't a terrible discrepancy, though. Now, Iowa's defense is legit. Maybe they will hold down Michigan State here and keep it under. But, boy, it just feels like it's going to come right around the number in this one for me. I can't be all – I know I've done it before. Come on, I was on some of these where I was saying, hey, this game's going to be, a ridiculous score. Remember when Mindy and I would talk about some of the – and we were nailing them, of course. So we didn't need the Big Ten expert in here. All right. Well, Michigan State's a disaster right now. I'd have to take them here in this one. I'll take them to be okay if I guess I'm leaning 37, 37 or so. Maybe the final score. Maybe it can be 27-10. 27-10 final score. Iowa wins it. I'll take Iowa. God, could they really score? They probably can. Michigan State's having some issues. Let's just take Iowa here. Let's kick, I don't want to kick them while they're down, but Pittsburgh and Virginia Tech. This is game number 129 and 130. And in this one, you have Pitt right now on the road, favored by 2.5. The total 40.5. And we do have news out of this game regarding the quarterback situation coming in. Let me see. I thought, did the line not necessarily even react to the news? Let me make sure I got the news right, because it was just flashed on here as I was going on the air, maybe a little bit before I came on, but the update did come in, I believe, on the game. So let me see what we have here. The total's down to 40.5. So Jerkovic was upgraded to probable for Pittsburgh. So I think that's a pretty positive sign. I mean, it sounds to me like they're going to have him in there for sure in this one. I don't know if it's going to sway me here. He's been good, but he's barely a 50% passer. Of course, Wells is questionable for Virginia Tech, so I think that's probably it's baked into the cake. But I thought we'd see more of a move here a little bit. In that Tennessee game, we talked about being on the Gamecocks. Tennessee's on the move here a little bit. I'm showing them up to 12 and 12.5. That's how I was sneaking a peek there at the Pittsburgh Virginia Tech game, and I see that line move coming in, a little bit of a line move. And I'll try to keep you updated on any steam that comes in here today while we're on the show. That's what I should be doing. This is the morning steam. So didn't necessarily see anything here actually. So I'll keep you posted. All right, let's keep it rolling here with Pittsburgh and Virginia Tech in this one. For me, let's see here. So I cleared up the quarterback situation a little bit. Tyree Tillman here today. He's on Pitt. I've seen I'm not finding many on Virginia Tech. I kind of want to be that guy. Nathan put in his plays for the early game where I'm on the late game. So that's right, Mike. Good take there. Forever Royal here today. Nice to see you. Nice to have you. Nathan talking about the Brighton game. There, I did see the finals coming in here a little bit. Obviously, I can't keep it all straight. I'm even watching the score of the Ryder Cup out of the corner of my eye here. It's not getting any better. All right, we get a little bit of coverage here, at least with this game here as I make the call. I will tell you this. I've got a premium on the total in this game. I'm not going to tip my hand too heavily on my handicap here. There are some games where I say, hey, I'll probably do the whatever. But this, I'm not tipping I like this game a lot on the total. So I want to be that guy. I feel like I want to be that guy on Virginia Tech. But, man, handicappers are just so strong on Pitt here today. It's hard for me to ignore their favoritism. This game opened 4. It did go all the way down to 1.5, but now it's back up here to 2.5 for Pittsburgh. I mean, look, for Pittsburgh, look at what's going on with them, right? They're kind of in a situation where they just a couple of weeks can make a difference here. And the Virginia Tech, even though they're at home and everything, right? This is a night game, so maybe they can have all that, but it's just not working out right now. They've only covered in 8 of their last 24 games overall. And, they've been outgained by over 100 yards over their last 12 games, 100 yards a game. So they don't run the ball very well. They don't stop the run very well. Nathan does like Virginia Tech. He's going to buy a point here, it looks like, because I'm pretty sure on this one Um, we're looking at 2.5 for the most part. So I'm gonna take, I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh. It feels like that's what, you know, the numbers indicate to me that it's probably right on. So maybe it's supposed to be to me to make the call. I'm just trying to find a way to Virginia Tech, but the stats just don't match up right now for me. So I hope Pittsburgh can, uh, get this going here. I'm taking them in this one. I'll take the Panthers. I feel like they should be able to win here. I mean, look, maybe they were in that role of road favorite, but against West Virginia, but things just seemed they weren't clicking. They weren't clicking like they were supposed to. I get that, and then they end up scoring, what was it, 7 points? So remember the line switched at the last minute. I mean, I call them a road favorite, but remember West Virginia actually went off the 2.5 point favorite. So, and that's all right. Virginia Tech, they beat Old Dominion, Liberty, and Wofford so far. So that's not, that's a little different. I mean, okay, they beat those teams. They get all, um, playing their song, playing the, you know, for some of those games. This will be a little bit different. Pittsburgh in here. I'll try Pittsburgh. And remember, they lost to Marshall, right? So Pittsburgh wins it. Virginia Tech, could they get anything going really on? I mean, look at the total's pretty low. I better not stop talking. I had a premium. Okay, here we go. West Virginia and TCU here in this one. This is 215, 216. I feel strong about this game too. And I definitely, you know, feel like it's going to be a big. I like TCU. I just get to the point here in this one. I'm not sure that West Virginia is going to be able to get any offense to travel in this game. It feels like to me. Feels like this going to be one-sided. I'm missing the best number by far here. This one opened to 8.5. It was as low as 7 on the look ahead, but 8.5 was bet up to 9, all the way up here to 13, 13.5 at some spots. I do like TCU to roll here. Uh, I like the Frogs. I mean, look, West Virginia at home, they run the ball, they keep the score low. And look, I know the Steam originally came in on the over here, and I saw as high as 55.5, but it's all the way back down to 50.5 right now. I don't know how much lower it's going to go, but I don't think West Virginia could come in here. I know, okay, we've had a lot of talk about where TCU stands right now, and yes, they're not as good and all that, but they should be able to stop. If West Virginia wants to come in here and run against TCU, that ain't going to work. And I don't know if they have any option to do anything else other than that. So West Virginia, that they run like they run like their army. They run like they're a running team, and they are run heavy. So might go over here. Hello to Victor Jimenez here today as well. So look, TCU, they're still putting up points. I mean, we could say they're not who they are last year, and okay, we'll give everybody that. But this feels like the game TCU wins, covers, low score, all that. I've got to think TCU here in this one can probably win it by more than 2 touchdowns. I'm on TCU. West Virginia, the don't forget they did have some tough foes too, but man, the Texas Tech game does stand out. But no, not today. All right, TCU to roll here, and I'll be on the total. I'm on the total. I'm pretty sure for a premium. So pick up my evening package if you don't know what I like. I know I didn't give away the other one. That one I kind of gave away, but all right, time to talk about my Aztecs here against Air Force, and I don't think it looks good. I don't think it looks good for the Aztecs here today. Spread currently at 10.5. It opened 11, went down to as low as 9. San Diego State was the one that actually ended up taking some steam here, but I'm probably not feeling it today with the Aztecs against Air Force. Kind of think, and the total's gone down considerably. I feel like the Aztecs aren't gonna, okay, they might hang their hat on defense. Okay, they see Air Force every year, but look, they couldn't. Different, I know, a little bit different, but they still couldn't come up clutch against Boise State in that game, right? They definitely had issues late defensively, and I think they just might suffer from a bunch of defensive issues here in this one. I don't know why. I get why the total's going down, and maybe it will be a low score, but I'm not sure San Diego State's going to be able to keep Air Force's score down low enough to force an under. I'm going to take you. I'm going to be on Air Force here to cover. I wish probably given out here as a free pick because of it, the hook there. And when I'm starting to lay a little bit here, I'm going to try to get it under that 10 points. That's just the way I play the game. This is a football game, and probably going to bend it down, get it under 10 for sure. But they're Air Force is number one. No, make no mistake. As far as their run game, we know that, and by a long shot. But that's because they're Air Force, and San Diego State knows what they're in for. But the Air Force has already had some pretty. They crushed look what they did to San Jose State. And San Diego State's supposed to be better than San Jose State, but how much better are they? Anyway, San Diego State was got racked up by Boise, and they had a whopping 166 total yards. So this is going to be Air Force's game to win. I would imagine they'll win it by close to 2 touchdowns, and it may end up getting I might be on the total here. I'll just stop a little bit, but I don't think it's a great spot for my Aztecs here in this one. Hey, Ferner, how you doing? We'll have NFL afternoon tomorrow. Right now, I'm covering college evening games here. Air Force, it continues. Nathan for Air Force. Air Force for everybody. That's a consensus play from us here on the morning steam from me and you guys, the chat. Heaviest game right here. No doubt about it. Air Force. Team Steam. Hi, Lazzy. All right. So that's a few more pieces of information here. Let's see if we can. Minnesota running back Darius Taylor is downgraded to out today against Louisiana. Did see some steam come in on a baseball game, Cubs and Brewers. We talked about. I haven't got to the baseball yet. I was going to give my play out. All right, I guess we could kind of wait for that a little bit. Let's keep it going with football here. I'm going to try to get to 6 baseball games today. Alabama and Ole Miss. In this one, Alabama, this is 185 and 186. In this one, is that really the line? Alabama 18 and a half. No, it's 14 and a half. That is a typo. That is a typo. Just ignore that one. I was going to say, because I like Alabama. And 14 and a half is definitely a troublesome number for me. I'm going to definitely buy it down a little bit, get it on at least to get that hook off of there, if not a little more. Make sure you win this one. But I like Alabama to get back on track. I think they'll, of course, we know that, switch is back to Milrow, whatever you want to say. I guess there's that, X is going to get you. Was Milrow actually serving some type of disciplinary action that wasn't revealed? Well, that doesn't seem like something that they would do at Alabama necessarily. Maybe it was more to light a fire. Alabama doesn't want to throw away a game, so uh, you know, I don't know. There's a lot of you can listen to Alabama talk all day long. Believe me, you can. There are internet shows. It's also it's who you're gonna believe, and I don't know what I believe, but all I do know is that I think Alabama probably rolls. Look, 24 points against Ole Miss and just 131 rushing yards, but they got the money, right? So I imagine they can get the money here again today against Mississippi State, and um, the total is, well. It was as high, I saw as high as 52 and a half. I never had a shot at that. I don't even know if that's real life, but I did see the opening number of 46 and a half did go up to as high as 48. One of the reporting sites, I mean, I trust the reporting sites, did list a 52 and a half. Now, that might have been a look ahead, and I just wasn't up to speed when I took my notes there. We just gave out that initial move on that show on Sunday from 46 and a half to 48. But the steam came back down and buried it down here to 46. And uh, look, okay, Milrow's in there. I'm sure Alabama's offense be better. They're playing Mississippi State. They should be better. They should, be able to, uh, get the money here against them. But I guess that Mississippi State does have a few things going for it. So it looks like they've, kind of shifted things a little bit, especially with the near 500 yards passing against South Carolina. But are going up against Alabama here. I'll take the Crimson Tide. I'm going to lay these points privately. I am going to, I'm going to buy at least a half a point. I'm going to bring it down to 14. And if I'm betting enough, I'm going to take some down to 13 and a half, maybe even 13 and 12 and a half. And I'll put it right in there, right in that little pocket. Because you only get one shot. But I'll take Alabama here. And probably going to be going in the, total on a premium here. So Nathan leaning there, but yeah. Mike says, "Oh, and Lazzie's on Alabama." I thought they did get. I thought Alabama's got. I mean, maybe I need to check that out. I thought they had. All right. Well, I've got to keep the show moving. I can't be looking up stats here right now, but all right. Okay, Washington and Arizona. Oh, there was some breaking news here, I believe, this morning on the Arizona. In fact, has this line moved? It's still 18 and a half and 66. Well, I think the news was something let me see what it was. There definitely has been coming out right now, a little bit of breaking news in another game for Toledo. DeQuan Finn, their good quarterback who averages 170 yards a game, 8 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. He's questionable for the game against Northern Illinois. That's Toledo quarterback Finn, questionable for the game against the Huskies. Okay, speaking of Huskies, anyways, here with the game with Washington and Arizona. Arizona quarterback DeLora, he has been downgraded to doubtful. We already know that Wiley, he's doubtful as well. So Arizona dealing with a few issues here. DeLora has been, he's got over 1,000 yards so far. Yeah, he has 5 interceptions, but he's definitely chucking it so far, doing a pretty good job for Arizona, and his leg injury has downgraded him to doubtful here against Washington. And at 18 and a half, I'm probably, I don't know. Should we get on? It doesn't look like there's been much reaction to the line on that news. Now, Dolores a good quarterback, and I know he is better, but oh, thank you, Daryl. Yeah, I think we're going to prevail eventually. I don't want to say we're not a con. We're just trying to make sure we get people viewing. I just want people to view. So hey, look, I'm here to handicap the games, make some videos for the Tony's Picks channel, and sell the picks. It's all a continuous cycle. So I have a vested interest in this. I'm not trying to come on here and be Mr. Know-It-All. Just give you what information that I can. I know my style's a little bit different. A lot of market read, a lot of gut feel, right? Decades of experience. But, we've got some pretty solid information to back it up, and I got a pretty good database here. And love a good trend, don't I? Thanks a lot, you guys. Appreciate it. All right, Washington, Arizona here. I'm going to take the Huskies to take care of business in this one. I think they can win it by 3 touchdowns here. Look, this Washington situation is very serious, if you know what I mean. It's no joke. I don't know where these teams are going to go once all these quarterbacks leave. One thing I will say, and Tony doesn't, I don't know, he watches the show. I know he does, not all of it probably, but Tony was saying, what is the Pac-10? Where are they going to be once all these quarterbacks leave? But I said on a show earlier this week that I will contend. Let's see. I'm not putting him to the challenge on this, and I agree. I mean, this group of quarterbacks will be tough to replace, but I think that the inclusion of the Pac-12 teams, or the Pac-10, whatever you want to call them now, but the teams, this will expand their recruiting base. I believe that kind of those woes that the Pac teams suffered because they seemed to be non-inclusive, not included, kind of, right? We always said, well, let's look at the BCS standings. Oh, they're in the Pac. They've got to win the whole thing. Whatever. All those teams are a joke. Maybe and they were accused a lot of times of cannibalism, meaning that Pac-12 teams often knock themselves out. Yeah, bad defense, but quality play too that always resulted in upsets here and there, and it was always going to cost them along the way. The conference might be a little deeper than some of those other big conferences, where those other teams are rolling the Vandy's of the world and stuff like that. So I think the move east, if you will, for the Pac teams will help their recruiting base because players will be more apt to say, okay, I will go there. There's trips back east. There's the exposure, the money. The money's coming. It's all about that as well. And the exposure will be greater with those conferences and those games. And the game times will probably be pretty messed up, though. But anyways, just want to state my position on that. I think the Pac teams will benefit in the recruiting base. Going to be tough to replace those quarterbacks. I do agree with that. Okay, Washington and Arizona here. I will take the Huskies, and you see this total. It's been the massive dropper of the week, probably for good reason, I would think. I think they just got it wrong because Arizona now is going to have a big-time problem today. And with Washington on the road, figure Arizona, maybe they could have I'm not saying they'll ever, play that wildcat defense from the past, but I certainly think that, if Arizona does have some problems scoring because of Washington's legitimate team on both sides of the ball, and that's why I think you're seeing this massive move here to the under. It opened 74.5 when we did that Circa show, and now it is all the way down to 66. It did go as low as 65.5, but I would think it's probably going to be under that as well. But we'll see. Don't want to give it away here, but I feel like that's the way it's going to go. The Huskies, dating back even to the last Last season, they're averaging 43 points a game right now. Penix already has 1,600 yards, and Arizona's given up 44 points in 44 points or more in 5 of their last 12 games. Deloro was the only chance I think they had to get a cover. To me, it seems like. Give me Washington for sure, and get it now. I mean, like I said, I thought the line would move as soon as Delora was out, but it has not. So Washington smashes, I think, here. Okay. One more here with Nevada and Fresno, 177, 178. And I'll get on to some baseball action with you. Appreciate everyone here joining me here on the Morning Steam, 7 days a week, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Your first look on YouTube at the day's betting action. All right, Nevada and Fresno. Look, this is bad. This is bad for Nevada. The defense is bad here, and I don't know. It feels like what the line's 24.5. The total should be 24.5. Or well, the defense is very bad. I think they're last or next to last, whatever the case may be. Nevada has one of the worst defenses in the country right now, and that's pretty much the story of this one. The Fresno State, they're averaging 37 points a game. They're dating back to the middle of last season, so no reason why they won't, have a pretty good time of it here. I just do have a little bit of worry about, stepping on the gas here a little bit, and that total definitely has gone down here. And well, it's just a matter of what kind of mood maybe Fresno State is in, but maybe it's gone down a little bit too much here for me. Let me see here. I have one peek at the market here a little bit. Okay, I got it. All right, man. I don't think I could do anything with Nevada at this point. It's got to be Fresno for me. This is just a bad situation. It's a crummy number, right? Oh, did I lose my graphic here? 24.5. I guess I'd buy a half a point, but I'm sure they can win. I'm not going premium here necessarily. I'm sure they win by around 4 touchdowns, but Daryl talking a little soccer today with some international action and also with MLS tonight. I did start to look at the MLS card. It's hard on college football Saturday being a handicapper the way I do it.